All right, guys, welcome back to the TI4 SCA Qualifiers here, presented by the NA Hub and Monster Energy. Thank you so much for joining us here. We are into our game. It's RRQ versus Mineski here, best of one series. Thanks so much for joining us here on Beyond the Summit 2. My name is Mont. With me is Basecape. How you doing, man?
I'm doing really well. I'm looking forward to this game, and we were just looking at potential ties, looking at potential results, and things are getting really interesting as far as the SCA qualifier is concerned. We already knew coming into it that it might be a little bit predictable, but
Right.
now that we're getting down to the wire, there's still a bunch of teams in contention, aside from Execration and Zephyr, who have both been mathematically eliminated,
Right.
unfortunately. But it's a good one coming up, RRQ versus Mineski. We cast a couple of Mineski games yesterday.
Yeah.
They were looking pretty good.
Yeah.
A little bit inconsistent here and there. I think this is actually the first game of RRQ that I've casted, although I've been watching them a lot, and I think Don Schwan is super legit, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
I really love Don Schwann's play. He's been playing really well. I think I saw a game between them, and I believe it was Execration, and it was a really, really close game. So we are going to jump into the draft. You talked about the potential scenarios, of course, with that all of the 5-4s that can happen and stuff like that. So I don't know. There's a whole lot of potential for these different type of scenarios to play out. So we'll see how things go here.
As I manage to knock things around.
Yeah.
I'll get myself over to that as well.
Okay, so we're all going to jump into the draft. Tramp Protector picked up first for Mineski right now, and pretty solid pickup coming out. I like the Tramp pick first. A lot of teams have really been going at him with a Shadow Demon, or even maybe even a Dazzle to a certain extent. You'll see with him as well. But there's a lot of supports that work well with the Tramp Protector. He's strong with many heroes. I love seeing him played a lot. And RRQ, I believe last time around they picked up a Wraith King Core, which was really solid last time I saw them anyway. And I think it's I don't know. It's interesting. I want to see what RRQ go for first. They ban out the Invoker. They ban out the Bat Rider. No surprise there. The Centaur and the Doom banned out for Mineski. I guess standard stuff as we jump out away here in the draft.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a huge fan of this early Train Protector pick because I think the hero is good. I'm not sure if he's necessarily first pick worthy unless you're, say, EG,
Yes.
for example. Like, the opportunities for counterplay here for RRQ are pretty solid. And the other thing is that you don't need to necessarily invest that much to deal with the Train Protector. Like, they've already got the Dazzle, so they've already got a nice way to deal with Living Armor as far as ganks are concerned. With the Poison Touch, there's still plenty of opportunities for them to pick up something like, say, or Shadow Shaman as their secondary support, so they don't really care about Living Armor when it comes to pushing towers. Could also be nice as far as being over on the dire side and securing Roshan. Dragon Knight could also be pretty good as far as core heroes go here, so we'll see what happens, but for Mineski, I'm interested to see what this Train Protector pick is going to do for them and how they're going to take advantage of the hero's strengths. Because it is going to slow down the pace of the game a little bit, so maybe that makes some opportunities for Mineski to be a little bit greedier and maybe go for something like that Shadow Fiend for Jay, something along those lines.
Yeah, I would really be excited to see Shadow Fiend for Jay, as long as he builds the correct items.
Yeah, normal items would be nice.
Like, not like Scythe, Lincoln Sphere, Scotty
The
items.
Scythe was legit. Scotty and the Lincoln Sphere were both very strange, in my opinion, just because even when he had them, he had a ton of HP, but unless the Morphling was hexed, he just couldn't actually man-fight the Morph in that game. So that was just really odd. And okay, so RRQ, I'm not a huge fan of the Nyx Assassin pickup here, especially against the Train Protector. It can be a little bit difficult to get a lot of successful ganking done. It is nice as far as pickoffs and initiation is concerned, but I don't know exactly where it's going to be run. And my biggest problem with the early Nyx Assassin pickup as well is that you do leave yourself a little bit open to the enemy team going aggressive, just because Nyx Assassin is such an underwhelming 1v1 hero. There are very few 1v1s that go well for him. He gets beaten by a lot of melee heroes, almost every ranged hero.
Yeah.
So that can make your draft look a little bit weak. Also, he's kind of underwhelming as a support tri-lane versus tri-lane. So we'll see. Mineski, they are going to already be considering, okay, do we want to aggressively tri-lane into a Dazzle? He is one of the strongest tri-lane versus tri-lane supports.
Yeah.
Though they do have a Train Protector and they do have a Viper, so they've got a potential winning 1v1 matchup in the Viper.
Yes.
Pretty much no matter what, and they've got a pretty good tri-lane versus tri-lane support of their own in the tree. So we'll see what Mineski are whether or not they're feeling aggressive here. I think that's the big question.
I want to ask you about the Viper because there's been a lot of talk, especially like downstairs. Like I know
Fear like flaming the Viper
Yeah,
nonstop.
yeah. Everyone's hardcore flaming the Viper, and I don't know where I stand on him. What do you think about the Viper pickup here for Mineski?
I feel like Viper needs to be more of a counter pick. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of picking him up, especially because Viper's game plan is a little bit more one-dimensional than other core heroes. So say, for example, if you're picking a Viper as a core, your typical game plan is going to be your Viper's either mid or he's in the safe lane. He's going to farm up a pretty fast mech, and you're going to
Yes.
start 5-manning from lane to lane,
Yeah.
using that mech, using the early survivability and damage of the Viper to hopefully try and close out the game pretty quickly. But taking the hero within your first two picks sort of forces you into that strategy immediately. And if Mineski decide, okay, well, look, we need to change tack, we need to try and aim less for a 25-30 minute timing and more towards a 40+ minute timing, the Viper can start looking a little bit underwhelming. I think he's still nice. I think Viper to me is always pretty good against, say, like Ursa, Lifestealer, your melee carries that you really want to kite around, but there's nothing that RRQ have done pick or ban wise so far that necessarily screams to me, okay, this is a Viper game. This is the really big opportunity. So we'll see. I'm a little bit unconvinced. Maybe Mineski can show me otherwise.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, there's no point in picking it this early, I feel like. RRQ are going to pick up the Shadow Fiend, and this is a solid pickup coming out. I don't know about the matchup mid against a Viper, if it is a Viper versus a Shadow Fiend, which we're not sure yet, because there's the Brewmaster pickup coming up from Mineski, and we've seen Jay play the Brewmaster before in that mid lane as well. I think maybe I'm wrong about that. No, it was yesterday. It was DDZ on the Brewmaster that played it, so okay. I'm not sure if they're going to send that Brewmaster mid or if we're going to see the Viper mid. I mean, if you want to win the lane, I feel like Viper does a better job against the Shadow Fiend. You could use your raises potentially. You'll get a lot of right click a little bit later on, and you can maybe zone out that Viper a bit more. So I don't know. Maybe it's kind of if we don't lose early on in that lane with the Shadow Fiend, he'll start balling out of control and maybe even like killing or harassing the Viper. I don't know. That's an interesting lane matchup that I haven't seen too often. So
yeah. Okay. So the one thing about the Shadow Fiend matchup is I think. The big thing is Viper, if he can get ahead early and do well right in the first couple of waves, then the Shadow Fiend is going to have a pretty hard time. But Viper doesn't actually do that well against heroes that can spam the lane really well. Like Viper against Death Prophet, Pugna, Shadow Fiend, even say Dragon Knight, like heroes that just have super spammable abilities to clear the wave, means that the wave is always pushing towards Viper, and it becomes really difficult for him to actually just try and zone out the opposing hero. So and Shadow Fiend fits into that mold. So yeah, I don't know. It's not as crushing a 1v1 win, I think, as you would like. But Mineski are seemingly going for this. You know, I mentioned that 25 to 30 minute timing, the 5-manning with the mech, with the Viper, and I think the Brewmaster fits perfectly into that. So now the question becomes for RRQ is, can they get through can they navigate that mid game safely, and can they get to the other side where they have, say, a Shadow Fiend BKB and +1 item, and you know whatever core item is going to be up on their primary farmer. I do like the Earthshaker pickup here a lot. Does pretty much 100% guarantee that it's going to be your core Nyx assassin here. So, but the Earthshaker does help to slow down the pace of the game quite a bit, which is always pretty good.
yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Earthshaker. We don't see it too often, but blocks are so good. I mean, you can get a kill just based on a block alone. You can also screw up the blocks as well and pretty much screw your own team over. So that's kind of, I mean, those are the two situations. Plus, it's not as easy to farm a Blink Dagger as it is on some, say something like a Sand King, but he's still very powerful with Echo Slam. He's a really good team fight hero. He's got a nice lockdown coming through. His range is a bit better than, obviously Burrow Strike. So I like him a bit more potentially. They'll go for the last pick, Mirana, which is really weird because we've seen that so often, especially in the American qualifiers. The fact that it's last pick is kind of interesting. And that should be a Dazzle, Earthshaker, Mirana tri-lane, Nyx Assassin off lane, or solo safe lane, and then a Shadow Fiend probably mid. And with an Earthshaker, Mirana arrow combo, I feel like that's pretty solid to get kills.
Yeah, they've definitely got a lot of killing power here, but the one thing I worry about for them is if things start, if they fall just a little bit behind, the Brewmaster blink clap ulting, if that happens in a team fight, everybody on RRQ is going to have to scatter. They don't really have anybody for the front lines now, so unless the Shadow Fiend and the Mirana are kind of tanky enough and have the items to be able to sustain themselves in team fights and be able to sit there right-clicking, then I worry that Mineski could just straight up run them over.
Yeah.
And okay, so Mineski shake things up a little bit and they do end up last picking a Templar Assassin. So another hero that does, I think the Templar Assassin does even better against the Shadow Fiend than the Viper. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be the Brewmaster in the offlane. It does still kind of, I think the Templar Assassin still fits nicely into this theme of ending the game reasonably early, but it also gives them just a little bit of extra reach into the late game. So I think this maybe buffers them out like an extra 5-10 minutes, and it means that the Brewmaster is really only there for his ultimate. The Brewmaster's going to have to do okay. Though he is on the Radiant side, he does have a Terrain Protector, so it's about the easiest offlane you can get in the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be feeling somewhat comfortable here. I love the last pick Templar Assassin coming out from Mineski right now. We are going to jump into the game. This is arguably a pretty big game for both teams here. RRQ, I believe they're sitting right now at 3-4, maybe even 4-4. I'm not sure. I think we updated the standings already. I think it was 3-4.
Mineski, RRQ 3-4, Mineski 4-3. So a pretty important match. And we were theory crafting the maximum tie scenario, which I think is something like 5 or 6 teams at 5-4, and for that to happen, what is the result of this match? I think this is actually the match where if everything else goes the way of ties, this match actually determines which of these two teams is 4-5 and which of these two teams is 5-4. But that's that's a really hypothetical scenario. Yeah. So
we took a long time kind of just theory crafting, and we're like we just wrote it out and just like, okay, what's going on here? Who's winning against who in the scenarios? And we talked about it. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is a big game for both teams. And essentially, I don't know if it determines their playoff status here. Things could go awry for anybody here, but at the same time, like this is still a huge game when it comes down to it. So Mineski, we are going to jump into the game. Let's get into some introductions as well. Down in the bottom lane, we're going to have Owl. He'll be on the Rubik, sitting here in the bottom lane, helping him out. It is going to be G on that Treant Protector. We'll see ASXC on that Viper coming out to help him out. Well, no, going into the mid lane, actually, is going to be Jay on the Templar Assassin. And to round it out, it's going to be Jesse Vash on the Brewmaster, heading to that solo off lane in that top lane.
Yeah, and meanwhile, over on RRQ, we have Boo Boo on the Dazzle. Koala is going to be handling the Mirana. We've got Gehenna on the support Earthshaker, so that comprises your trial lane. And then heading towards mid on the Shadow Fiend, we have Don Schwan. I think the one player that we're really going to be watching this game. And then certainly last but not least, we have Nefari in the offlane as the Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, and he'll be going for a poor man shield. Really strong item in that Nyx Assassin. Getting that up early, he should be okay. Maybe not, though. It's a bit. I mean, this is a pretty high kill potential lane. The Viper can do a lot of early game damage. You have a Treant with Leech Seed and obviously Telekinesis and Fade Bolt coming up for Rubik as well. So his positioning is going to have to be flawless. He doesn't have a ward down here, so he doesn't really know what's going to happen. There's no sentries or anything like that. They haven't placed anything down in the lane. They might just waste a sentry ward here, not knowing that they haven't warded up. So this is actually really bad for Nefari here. Nyx Assassin has to play very far back, and he won't really get experience because if he expects them to wrap around to the backside, he might die unless he's really got some solid positioning here. So we'll see how it goes for this Nyx Assassin, I suppose.
Yeah, dire offlane Nyx Assassin is a pretty tough lane, and like you mentioned, they just didn't do any groundwork for him. They didn't make their way down here. They didn't give him boots and pull in some regens. So he doesn't have any vision to work with, and yeah, he's actually in a little bit of trouble already.
And the poison attacks are going. The telekinesis, nice body blocks coming out from the Rubik Spike. Carapace's going to go, but is it going to be enough? The right click's coming through the lead sheet. This should be first blood, and it's going to go to the Viper. It's just that easy. He's sitting here in lane, and the Viper wasn't even in position, nor was the Treant Protector. That was great body blocks coming up from the Rubik there to get and secure that kill.
Yeah, the Rubik already has boots, and it's so tough for the Nyx Assassin. He has no idea where the Rubik is. It's not even like he was playing that far up, but as soon as he got lifted back, there was no way for the Nyx Assassin to be able to get out of there. And Jesse's actually had a pretty nice start over in his offlane. He started off with a haste rune, and he actually used that to go and intercept the creep wave right at the very start. So he intercepted the dire creep wave, he pulled it between the tier 1 and the tier 2 tower, and just secured a couple of CS for himself here and there. So things looking all right for him. They didn't end up giving him a ward to work with on this top lane, so he doesn't have all that much information. But again, I think he's going to be fine. It's the Radiant offlane, and there's also a Terrain Protector who can help him out here and there.
Yeah, and they're doing a really nice job getting these runes here. You saw Jesse Vash looking for that 2-minute rune top, and it looks like G's going to grab it bottom with that Treant Protector. And he's roaming mid right now. He'll have Leech Seed, and he actually has it right now. But roaming through, Gehenna is here to help out. They don't want Don Schwan to go down. He is a key ingredient in this team fight. And I guess the lineup of RRQ here. He's still waiting to go. Jesse Vash is going to wrap around to the backside. There is a dire ward here, but it didn't spin him out. Jesse Vash is going to head back top, but maybe a Leech Seed going to come through. We'll see. I don't know if they can really get this kill. He's playing very far back here, so it looks like until maybe G makes his way back down bottom and shows himself, they're going to have Don Schwan not play too far up here.
Yeah, the fact that the Strain Protector had an Invis rune picked up was really clearly called by RRQ, and the only reason that the Shadow Fiend was playing it up at all was because the Earthshaker was sitting right behind him. And this is actually really old school stuff from RRQ. The Earthshaker just staying at level 1, sitting mid with Fisher, dodging experience. Nefari is going to get jumped, but he's actually just going to be able to TP back to his tier 1 tower there. So heads up play. He knew that as soon as he was lifted, there was no further stuns in the lane, and yeah, he's just going to be able to escape. So nicely done. But yeah, going back to that thought about the Earthshaker, this is like the one advantage that the Earthshaker has these days in comparison to the Sand King, which, as you rightly pointed out, still made it through the pool. He can just sit right behind his mid hero and make sure that things kind of go okay for him. Though we'll have to see how this Earthshaker is going to recover. It could end up being pretty difficult for him, and he's not even stacking or anything.
They're gonna Fisher? No, he canceled his Fisher animation, and he keeps canceling it right now. He's maybe trying to look for a go on Jay, but the thing is, I mean, this is tough.
That's Psyblades. Don Schwan, he's dancing with death right now.
Yeah, he really is. One more Psyblade would get the kill for Jay here, and that's still, I believe, level 1 Psyblade. So yeah, it's a lot of damage coming out with Refraction charge up, which is level 3 Refraction, by the way. Haystring going to be going for Gehenna. Do they want to go for a kill here on Jesse Vash? He's going to back off to the tower. He should be okay unless they get a block here. He's going to cancel his animation. Jesse Vash throwing out the Drunken Haze. Fisher, more canceled animation from Gehenna. This is interesting. I mean, he's not going for anything right now. He's just kind of roaming around the map. He's not getting experience. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Mineski are going to take this tower. There's nothing that this Nyx assassin can do to stop this. That's a free tower coming over the Viper, and that's going to give them a lot of gold. He's got 1,700 gold in the bank already. He's got 25 last hits, getting essential free farm. And speaking of which, Jay is as well in this middle lane with 26 last hits of his own.
Yeah, Mineski's 5-man is going to be really scary. Super fast mech up for the Viper. The Shadow Fiend still... Well, Shadow Fiend not having the best of times, and he's just not really going to be combat ready for the mid game. And 5-manning is just a straight-up counter to the Nyx Assassin. You 5-man, you put down 1 sentry ward. It's not a huge investment. You slap down some towers. And Mineski, I think, looking really on track here.
I like this because you talked about it. Oh, Don Schwan going to go down the Refraction. He even used the side trap as well. Jay's trying to get out. What a play. We'll get the kill. Don Schwan was, like you said, dancing with death, and he will go down to that Templar Assassin in the mid lane. That's bad. That's actually pretty bad. He was only setting at 14 last hits. He's got 8 Necromastery stacks. He is that hero that can bounce back, but you don't want to have that kind of start with the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, Gehenna needed to see that coming just a little bit earlier and just lob the Fisher. I think the thing he was a little bit afraid of is where the Shadow Fiend and the Templar Assassin were going to end up relative to one another. Just because of how things were lined up, it would have been very difficult to put the Fisher between the two of them, and I think that moment of hesitation actually ended up costing the Shadow Fiend his life. So things not really looking that good for RRQ. There's a lot of gold floating around on the map. The Panda's already got 1k up for himself, courtesy of that tier 1 tower going down. Mineski not doing the best job of pulling the bottom lane back, but it looks like they've actually just gone for a single pull, and they're actually going to be using this Bassi to try and put some pressure onto the second tower. The Bassi is actually still turned on here for Paseo.
Is this mech flying out already? Is that a full mech? Yeah, that's a full mech coming out already at 6 minutes into the game. You talked about an early mech, but oh man, I didn't know it was going to be that early. That's pretty gross. Already, Spike Carapace getting dropped for Nefari. Make sure he stays alive here. No level 6, not yet, but very close for ASXC. He'll have that soon. The mech comes out now, and they could certainly 5-man like you talked about. I was going to pick up Mana Boots from the Roche pit real quick, and I'll head back down to that bottom lane. Meanwhile, mid, there's going to be a Fisher on Jay. There's going to be the raise as well. The side trap going to go through. Is Jay going to go down? He's got no refraction. He has Melt Strike. The raise, it's going to be enough. They get a turnaround kill for Don Schwan. That's something they needed desperately.
Yeah, nicely done by Don Schwan. Meanwhile, lift up on Nefari bottom lane. Going to pop the Carapace. Is there any TP support? I don't think the Dazzle is carrying a TP. Moonlight Shadow is going to be popped. He's still alive, and looks like he's actually going to be just fine. So... yeah, and the Dazzle will now go and grab a TP scroll over on Boo Boo. But yeah, nice use of the Moonlight Shadow. Going to get the Nyx Assassin away with his life there. And that does slow down the tier 2 tower push a little bit as well for Mineski.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Really nice to pop that Moonlight Shadow. The thing is also about the Mirana, she went for this Midas. So there's this pickup is like, you talked about the early game coming out from Mineski. It's very strong. So the Shadow Fiend and the Mirana, they're going to take a bit of time to get up and running. You'll maybe go for a Midas if you want a Don Juan, but he's had a bit of a rough start, so you might just go for Treads instead and then go from there. But that means that there's going to be this period of time where RRQ don't have any fighting potential, I feel like. So
the Nyx Assassin needs to do so damn well if this start is going to translate. Or Mineski need to make some mistakes as far as their execution is concerned. But I feel like they should just take this mech and go and do something with it. I don't think it would be unreasonable to say that they can 4-man mid lane or something like that right now. But instead they're just kind of roaming around the map looking for pickoffs, still grabbing a little bit of farm here and there. But they've already got one pair of Arcanes. They've got their mech. The Brewmaster almost has his ult, so maybe we'll see the Brewmaster ult as the big catalyst as far as Mineski starting to do stuff, but they've got this mech, they could be using it. And Jay chasing down.
This is a bit of a bait. He's going to turn his attention. He's just going to back away. He doesn't want to fight Nefari. The Fisher's going to go. There's going to be the Impale at the same time, but the Refraction taking up all of the damage. Melt Strike's going to go through. He wants Don Juan. Will he be able to get the kill? The Shadow Wave, the Shallow Grave. Jay getting low. He's got Melt Strike. He's going to have to use it. No, the Side Trap. That's 4 heroes to roam and gank him, but Jay will go down in the end. Ah, man, that was greedy, running up the high ground like that.
Yeah, Jay just thought he could get the freebie in the river, but RRQ had people in the vicinity, were ready to deal with that, and this is not the start that Mineski are going to want out of their Templar Assassin, and the TA actually going for a Midas here.
Ah, but why?
I don't agree with this in the slightest. You've got this mech up on the Viper, just go and use it. This hero is not an amazing one position to have in your safe lane as a late gamer, and we touched on it during the draft. If you're going to pick the Viper, just run the kind of all-in strategy. I guess the Midas is okay if you're ahead and you're 5-manning, and again, you want that little bit of extra insurance from the Templar Assassin, but if you've seen the Midas over on the Mirana, I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to just say, screw it, I'm going to pick up maybe a Drum and a Yasha, or a Drum and a BKB, and we're just going to go 5-man, but we're going to take every single one of their towers. Though it looks like the story for Mineski here is going to be Jay kind of doing a little bit more of his own thing, and the other 4 heroes on the team trying to get some more pushing done.
Actually,
4 heroes move top.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all, because they could still win fights, for the, how many ever heroes RRQ have, because they have that mech. And Jay can always TP in and maybe secure some last-minute kills here and there. The thing is, though, I mean, he's so strong. I mean, Templar Assassin's an early-game hero with Refraction and Melt Strike and all that, so Don Juan's going to get a free tower, man. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not TPing back. They're all grabbing a TP from the side shot, maybe, I think, but they're not TPing mid. Don Juan could have gotten that tower there had he known better, but Arrow flew through in the mid lane, was looking for that Rubik, was not able to find him. The TA is here, so it's not actually that free tier 1 tower. He actually backed away. He can still try to go for it here with Koala. They might trade this. I'm not sure. Jay's pretty much alone here. Living Armor is going to help out a bit, but this tower's going to start falling low, and we'll see if he can deny it. I'm not sure. He's going to use the side trap. TP coming
Finish
in.
it, Don Juan.
Don Juan will right-click it. Nice Living Armor, and again now Don Juan getting chased down. He's going to try to TP away. He's got a Primal Split now. No, he's going to get out of there, but they will get the deny off. That's the Rubik coming in, right-clicking it. Oh, man, that was close. Don out top. Boo Boo maybe in trouble. Fisher's going to go. He still has Grave up from the Dazzle here, so it looks like the Viper will be able to back away, assuming he doesn't get caught out of position, essentially.
Yeah, so nicely done by Mineski to be able to save that tower and get the deny, but it's still kind of a trade in a position where RRQ just don't have comparable early to mid game at all. Immediate Primal Split on Boo Boo.
Yeah, it looks like Boo Boo is going to take a fall here. He's got the Grave up. He could Shadow Wave or Shadow Grave himself. Oh, the Moonlight Shadow, though, it gets him out of there alive. They will get the Earthshaker. That's Rubik grabbing the kill, so he'll steal Fisher as well, which is not bad, but they could have gotten that kill.
Requiem mid lane, they've got the stun, they've got the setup. Jay gets chewed through on those refraction charges, and Don Juan going to take that Moonlight Shadow opportunity to set up a Requiem. Very nicely played by him.
Yeah, they were not expecting that. They were expecting a defense top, I think more so than anything. But instead they all just back away. So it looks like the tier 1 tower is going to fall. They'll trade the tier 1 for Jay's life, which, I mean, getting anything for this tier 1 tower, I think was really smart from RRQ. They did lose the Earthshaker, but he was right back into it. They'll TP bottom now. They'll make sure they push this wave out here. At least G gets some experience trying to get to level 6. A couple heroes rotating through. If they hit an arrow or even a Vendetta Impale, which is not up, just Impale, it might be enough for a kill here on G. So we'll see. The arrow might come through here in just a second. No Blink Dagger for Nefari. The Impale is going to come first. Now the arrow is going to fly. It's going to stun him up as well. The right click is there. No Starstorm needed. He didn't have enough mana anyways, so
RRQ, I think, are just doing such a good job. Oh, poor Don Juan. Haystream spawns. Paseo. Oh, is there going to be a TP out? Is that going to be enough?
Telekinesis?
There you go.
Oh, man. That telekinesis was not there. Now Nefari getting chased down. They won't kill on that Shadow Fiend, but still. Another TP rotation in. ASXC still has that haste room. Boo Boo is here. They're going to try to take this tower down as Jay is doing the right click with a refraction charge. Jesse Thatch is here as well. He's got his Blink Dagger now, but he has no Primal Split. Was already used. No mana as well. Fish is going to go and try to push this back. And Chant Totem coming out as well. Gehenna backing off. ASXC a little too far overextended. The Impale does miss. They get the tower for Jay. All right. Okay. A bit close, but still, they've taken care of it.
Yeah, and RRQ finding some trades here and there. I think the early game going a little bit better for them than I was anticipating. A little bit of split pushing going on from Koala bottom lane. Slightly greedy build out of the Shadow Fiend here. Goes for Yasha before starting towards his BKB. I think he still does need to go to the BKB pretty much right now. I don't know if we'll see a Manta style being completed first. So that could maybe be the preference with Don Juan. The Yasha is just a really nice farming item.
Yeah.
Honestly. And so Mineski, they've now taken down all the tier 1s. They've got their Blink Dagger over on the Brewmaster. They've also picked up a medallion on the Terrain Protector, which I think is really nice as far as just finding a secondary objective in Roshan if they manage to take down 1 or 2 tier 2s. And this Mirana is still, she's got net worth, but she just doesn't really have the same impact just because so much of it is stored up in that Midas. But this is still a really nice timing for Mineski to continue to exploit, and they're just going to smoke up and go straight for it.
Yeah, I mean, right now this is either going to be a kill or at least the tier 2 tower after they push this out a little bit. You can try to catch out Qual, but the wave has been pushed out. It's been pushed out, so ASXC has to just take it down and right-click it essentially. And they're still all grouped up. They're being very patient with this. I like that a lot. Top lane. And Don Juan can keep pressuring this tier 1 tower. And the TPB rotation is going to happen. It'll be from G. So he's there to, I think, help out if anything goes awry. But it looks like Jay's going to rotate back to mid. They're going to decide not to go for a kill and not to go for that tier 2 tower bottom, at least not yet anyways. So they just want to keep farming right now where, you know, maybe fighting might be the better idea here for Mineski.
Yeah, splitting up is letting the Midas tick up more and more for RRQ, and splitting up to defend also makes more opportunities for the Nyx Assassin to pick you off, though we haven't necessarily seen Nefari. Actually, you know, he has accomplished a little bit. He got that kill on mid against the Templar Assassin. He went down bottom lane as well and helped to pick up that kill on the Terrain Protector. So the Nyx Assassin has been reasonably successful, but again, splitting up from Mineski does give him those opportunities.
Oh. Now bottom, telekinesis, arrows flying. It does connect, just barely. What an arrow coming out from Rubik. My God, he stole that spell right away. They're able to get the kill. And they don't even need the rest of the team. They don't even need that Smoke of Deceit gank. They can try to keep pressuring this tier 2 tower bottom. There's going to be a rotation. It's going to be 3 heroes. Nefari, Gehenna, and Boo Boo are going to be here to try to contest this tower. Or at least just push them off of it real quick. ASXC has to be careful. They might just jump right on top of him. They're ready to go. Looks like there is going to be that Vendetta. They have the Sentry Ward now. He's pretty slow. He's going to get Fishered as well. The Vendetta Strike's going to come in. Is there an Impale? Spike Carapace coming through. Look at the damage. Nice Fisher Steel coming out from Awa. Is it going to be enough? There's the mech to go as well. They're going to turn around, go for Nefari. The right click, the Telekinesis Requiem. Is it enough? The last right click. The Shallow Grave comes out. What a grave, but Jay just blows up Boo Boo. But Jay, you jumped in. Why? That's 2 heroes dead coming up from Mineski. He really wanted that kill. Too greedy. Awa getting Living Armored. He'll stay alive. Coming through. Jesse Vash, full health. He's got his Primal Split ready to go. Now Awa. There's that Moonlight Shadow Sentry Ward. The Fisher. Now the clap coming through. The Primal Split as well. Qual's going to jump away. They're looking for that Shadow Fiend. He might try to TP away. He doesn't have one. He's a bit speedy because he, of course, has that Yasha. But here comes the Earth Panda. The Cyclone is going to be up. Is there any follow-up here? They have to get that rock thrown or at least dispel this real quick. The rock, is he going to make it there in time? No. Does he have a clap? No. He gets a kill on the Rubik with a raise. They can still chase him down. There's no mana for a Living Armor or Leech Seed, rather. Excuse me. Don Juan. Now he's getting forced back. G as well, taking a bit of damage from that Poison Touch. And finally, the fight is over. 8-7. I don't even know who won that one after it was all said and done.
I don't know. I feel like that actually favored RRQ overall. The Shadow Fiend got out. They did end up losing a couple of heroes, some really nice plays out of Oa, though unfortunately the punctuation mark for him for that fight was a little bit of a question mark. He stuck around. The Shadow Fiend just turned to him right after they dropped him out of the Cyclone, and he just got absolutely blown up. But before that point, the Fisher plays, the Fisher Steel into the stun, almost saving the Viper, the second Fisher in the river, those were both really nice. But things still looking pretty even. We've got the Manta style now completed for Don Juan, so that is going to be the choice for him, as opposed to working straight in towards the BKB. I think it is still a BKB game up against the Brewmaster, but looks like he's gonna decide that this is fine for now. And again, it is still some nice farming. It is some really nice tower pressure, and always nice to have those extra units up against living armor. And there's not a huge amount of AoE on Mineski to be able to deal with the illusions either. So I think it's a pretty solid pickup here as far as damage is concerned. And yeah, things looking alright.
Can he get close to the high ground? No, it looks like no. But there's the Manta style. Oh, maybe in trouble with the high ground miss hitting there. The illusions can't get it done. And the Drunken Haze Boo Boo getting blown up. He had the Shallow Grave animation going, but it wasn't enough. Oh, that's unfortunate. They almost got that Rubik, but the high ground misses, man. That's too much.
Yeah, so Rubik survives. Mineski is still trying to find some objectives here. They are still really fervently trying to hold on to this tier 1 tower over on top lane, which I think is fine. You don't want to be giving away extra gold to RRQ, but it can't... I don't think that holding on to this tier 1 tower is worth not applying pressure yourselves. Their team fight is just so great right now, but unfortunately we haven't really seen its full strength. And some of that is to RRQ's credit. They've got a lot of split pushing done. They have managed to split Mineski up on the map, though part of it is Mineski's decision making.
Yeah, while that was all happening, I mean, with the... You talked about the tier 1 tower that was topping. I'm surprised they haven't put more pressure on it, actually, but at the same time, they really can't because they could just rotate over, obviously, and just team fight. But Nefari, you talked about getting him involved. There was that solo... Viper was alone down bottom, essentially, and he almost got caught out of position if it wasn't for the sentry ward that was placed right here in the lane. So he caught him out of position, but Viper was able to run away, didn't get any abilities off of the next assassin, and all of a sudden Viper just walks away just fine. So ASXC will stay alive for the time being. He's going to go for an Aghanim Scepter, no surprise there. Really good for team fighting. I mean, getting one off 12 seconds, every 12 seconds rather, is pretty nice. So they're going to look for Gehenna, who's going to jump into the trees here. I don't know if they spotted him. The side trap, going to go for one. They see him.
Oh,
and here
he
he's
doesn't
got
have TP
no
mana.
TP. Yeah, he's going to die. The clap's going to go. The right click, he has resigned himself to death. He'll throw up the enchant totem. It's not going to matter. He'll go down. A bit unfortunate for Gehenna getting caught out of position.
On this next assassin, again, just goes for the Vendetta gank, walks right past the Sentry Ward. Viper's actually going to spot him out here, and this is the beginning of a pretty nasty fight. They've got the Brewmaster ultimate.
Nefari getting rocked up right now. Not getting thrown up just yet. Now they're going to get the medallion on him as well, trying to right-click him down. The Cyclone up for the Mirana. She'll stay up there for a bit. The poison attack now coming through. Now the Shallow Grave comes at the Requiem as well, but it's not enough. The Meld Strike coming in at Koala. Koala getting low. He'll fall. Now the Moonlight Shadow is going to go ahead and... Well, it's gone for now, but Boo Boo trying to TP away, but no! Just at the tail end, gets killed by the, of course, right click of the Templar Assassin. Going to town with a Refraction. 3 dead for RRQ. That is what Mineski needed to do, I feel like, a little bit of time ago. It doesn't matter. They're going to try to chase after these Shadow Fiend illusions, but they're not going to cause too much trouble. They'll take down this tier 2 tower. Maybe even rotate it into a Roche. We'll see.
Yeah, I think they had to cut their losses as soon as the Nyx Assassin got spotted out there. And it was... I feel like the Nyx Assassin, the fact that he'd been seen was really obvious, but he chose to run forward again, got Viper stuck. The rest of the team tried to bail him out, but just didn't work out, and that was exactly the team fight that Mineski were looking for. And they're such a hard team to run away from. You've got Blink Claps, chase all of the Viper's flows. You've got the TA traps as well. So
Whatever the Rubik steals plus telekinesis.
Yeah, arrows, fissures, whatever's getting thrown.
Exactly.
Thrown back at you. So really nice fight from Mineski. Clean 3 for nothing. Take the tower down as well. They've got a side trap over in the Roche pit as well, so they have a good idea if RRQ are trying to sneak that as a way to get back into this game. And I think this is a great pickup for Oa. He grabs the gem, helps him to secure this map control, helps him to keep 5 manning, and helps them avoid both the Nyx Assassin and the Moonlight Shadow.
Yeah, I love this gem pickup. I'm a big fan, especially like you said, the Moonlight Shadow. Like, if you're playing up against Mirana, please get that early gem. It's such a good investment. Yes, you might lose it, but what you gain is invaluable. Like, having to deal with, like, throwing sentries down or dusting people up, it's a lot better just to have that gem, especially on somebody like a Brewmaster, somebody who's a bit more tanky and will survive. Maybe even, like, perhaps the Templar Assassin. So they'll be able to run at people a little bit harder and not worry about that invis. So, plus they'll have map control, too. You start counter-warding, you start putting wards on the other side of the map, you start making sure that you've got their jungle essentially covered. And so now we'll see them probably play a bit more aggressively, especially because Jay, he's got his BKB finished up. It should be coming out to him, I imagine. I thought he had it anyways, but maybe I'm wrong. He went for a Blink Dagger early on. Is that another BKB? It is a BKB for Jay. Actually, he's going for a Desolator. So he has the Mithril Hammer. The BKB is actually flying out now, which means his Desolator is pretty close to being done already. And, yeah, he's feeling it right now. He had a couple of deaths that were questionable early on in the game, but he's 7-4 right now, so he is doing a bit of work.
Yeah, Jay's had a pretty good game. He's made this Midas pay off. Just a really aggressive build. You know, Midas straight into Blink. Not a whole lot of survivability. But now he's got the BKB, so that's pretty much covered. And Mineski, you know, the timing could have maybe been a little bit faster, but this is just the way that Jay likes to play his Templar Assassin. So I think things are looking just fine. The Mirana still not feeling all that impactful. Looks like she's going to be working her way towards a BKB as well, just after picking up the casual Yasha for some farm speed and a little bit of extra move speed here. And RRQ, a couple of opportunities perhaps to take some fights, but things are getting scary, and the split push is no longer working so well because they feel really blind on Koala.
Viper Strike, Telekinesis. This is one dead freaking Mirana. She'll just jump right into the trees, but
Slap.
okay, guys, please. Okay.
Somebody find it.
It's just like, all right, I'm not sure if they're going to get that kill, but because she leaves like in a really weird position.
I wonder if Jay was like, "Hey, give that kill to me. The Mirana's trapped. There's no way. We've pinned her in on both sides. We'll just
he's just
just give it to the Templar Assassin."
He wants
here.
the kill.
Yeah, he wants that Deso. He's actually getting really close.
Yeah, he just
as
needs
a
the recipe
result
now.
of that kill. Yeah, so second Mithril Hammer up, just needs the recipe to go. And I don't really know what options RRQ have left. They can keep trying to look for pickoffs with this Nyx Assassin, but good luck. Really, just with how much Mineski can 5-man at this point.
They really need to start focusing on the late game and what Don Schwan can do, but there's going to be a lot of pressure coming in, I feel like, from Mineski here in the next couple minutes. They're just making sure this tower is pushed out. They might go for tier 2 mid eventually. There's no tier 2 to deal with bottom. Once the tier 2 mid is gone, they have a pretty safe opportunity to even just smoke into Roche, or not even smoke in for that matter, as long as they have map control. And, well, they do have that gem up like we talked about, so it really comes down to them shutting down Don Schwan, I think.
Yeah.
And they have only gotten one kill, which is at the very beginning of the game. So,
yeah, if RRQ are going to win this game, it's on the back of Don Schwan. He's doing really well for himself. He's got Manta and BKB, so he's got quite a bit to say as far as these team fights are concerned. And he is the one potential problem for Mineski as we head a little bit further into the late game. But yeah, I would say RRQ still have a chance. Both teams are actually just farming up a little bit right now, but the Desolate is just being completed for Jay.
yeah.
So a huge boost for him. And they're probably going to be looking for a team fight in a second. Yeah, an immediate smoke. This is the big timing for Mineski.
Yeah, that's the item they were waiting for. They're looking to make a go now. They're going to run right into the enemy jungle here. There are a couple of Sentry Wards, but that's not going to matter. They're going to run right into Don Schwan. That is exactly what they needed. BKB is going to try to TP out Overgrowth. That's going to stop it. He's done. Well-timed Overgrowth to make sure he doesn't TP out of there. I think they would have had the damage anyways, but either way, it doesn't matter. He's dead for 55 seconds. That stops him from farming. Now they're going to go for this tier 2 tower. It is free. The creep wave is, in fact, here. This is really smart play coming out from Mineski, getting that kill and going straight for the tower.
And Jesse Vash all by himself on top lane, but
What is he
just going to
doing?
blow the ultimate. And I guess he's just forcing them back. It worked.
Yeah, but that ultimate is down now. I'm surprised that he used that, but yeah, I guess, I mean, he'll push the wave out without him getting... And he actually has the Earth Pennant back at the tower just to make sure he's not in a position to get ganked. And they actually have to deal with the waves down bottom and in the mid lane. They're going to get pushed out here, so they can't even really contest Roshan. With the medallion with the Desolator, it's going to fall in about like 5 seconds here. That means that Jay probably picks up an Aegis here, plus 2,000 gold in the bank. He's starting to get rich, and this is the timing they're looking for right now. 26 minutes in, take the tier 2 tower top, maybe even don't go for that. Try to go for another pickoff, or even go for the high ground if you're feeling a bit ballsy.
Yeah, I think with the Aegis up, they probably just take the... I think they probably just take the tier 2 since the split is still down right now. So if they take the tier 2, that might be uncontested, honestly, from RRQ. They might just be content to try and snag a tier 1 somewhere else on the map, and then just be ready to make an attempt up on the high ground, still with the Aegis in hand, with the primal split available. And RRQ, I feel like they've been given more opportunities this game than they probably should have, just because of the way that the draft played out and with the way that this Mirana chose to build up. But even with those opportunities, it doesn't necessarily look like they're not in a very good spot.
No,
right
really,
now.
I mean, like, this Mirana, she's got a Mantis out, which is great. She didn't go for the BKB. I don't know if that's really enough damage. They could try split pushing because they have 2 Mantis styles, which will be okay, I guess, and getting like a tier 1 tower, maybe even tier 2 towers. Jesse Vash is going to come down here in this bottom lane. He's not going to head top. He actually just finished up an Aghanim Scepter. They really want to defend this tower right now. They're not letting go of these tier 1s. They're going to try to trade. There's another hero coming in. It's going to be G, who's a little bit, far behind with that tree and protector. Another TP's going to come in. Blanket from Jesse Vash into the trees now. ASXC looking to Viper Strike. It'll be on Don Schwan. Nice Mantis style. Should avoid that Viper Strike. Now Gehenna. Enchant Totem misses there. Jesse Vash. Primal Split's going to go. They have the Moonlight Shadow. Do they have the gem up on anybody? I don't think it's on ASXC. They'll focus down the Fire Panda, but still taking a lot of damage. RRQ maybe in trouble. The Boulder Smash going through. G. Overgrowth onto 3. Onto 4 even. The Requiem going to go. Can they get the kill on the Brewmaster? It looks like no. He's got the, of course, Air Panda in the back, just still staying alive. Vendetta Strike on G. Now he might be in trouble. All the while, top lane pushing in his J, going for a tier 3 tower. They don't even mind if they lose this fight. The smash going in. G maybe in trouble. He'll fall. The tree and protector. Viper still alive. He was living armor. Now he's going to fall. The Echo Slam going in. That's a double kill for Don Schwan. But all the while, the tier 3 tower, it's going to fall. J doing work. And yeah, that's a tier 3 tower, but now he's going to try to right-click down Don Schwan. The side blade's going to go through. He's got his BKB. He's still going in. He wants this kill. Now the Shadow Wave keeping him alive. Jay has gone in too deep. He might die here. They dusted him up as well. That's the Aegis gone. I'm not sure if that was the smartest play. I don't think he's going to be able to get out. He has Meld. He's got Blink. He's going to blink away immediately. Jay getting out, spamming that blink, just trying to get out as quickly as possible. They're going to chase after him. They will not be able to catch him here, I don't think. And the Aegis is gone, but he got a tier 3 tower and almost got Don Schwan, which would have been a huge victory for him.
I don't know if that was worth it, honestly, for Mineski. That was another case of, like, maybe you just give away the tier 1 tower and take their rack. And it seemed like Jay had a slightly different plan in mind to the rest of the team. I guess he didn't have a TP scroll. So he couldn't actually have gone back, though. Had they wanted to defend, he could have coordinated with, say, the Train Protector. And the Train Protector could have just stayed top, given his TP to the Templar Assassin. The Templar Assassin could have been in attendance for that fight. But things still looking okay. Obviously, don't have the Aegis anymore. But Panda Ultimate's going to be back up in just a second, so that's fine. And now we've got an AC completed for the Templar Assassin as well. So yeah, Jay is looking really
He's
scary.
fat, man.
Yeah, he is. He is damn fat.
Yeah, that is a fat Templar Assassin, which is weird because there's a Brewmaster on the team, so.
Yeah.
Nah, Brewmaster's not even as fat as that TA. That TA, well, she's going to be doing some damage. So 30 minutes in right now, and we just checked out the gold graph. It's actually 12,000 in favor of Mineski. That doesn't necessarily mean everything, but for right now, it still means a lot. Like we said before, Don Schwan's going to be a pretty, I think, driving factor here.
Yeah, he's going to win the game.
Yeah.
If RRQ are going to win the game, it basically has to be all Don Schwan. The Mirana's getting somewhere, but still just not really scary as far as like Bats break out.
Are they going to go? Yeah, the Thunderclap goes through. Looks like they will use that split as well, taking a lot of damage. Don Schwan now BKB'd up. Now he's going to use that Overgrowth coming through. And the Moonlight Shadow as well. The Requiem going, not doing anything. The BKBs canceling out all that damage now on the run. They really want to chase after him. Jay wants this kill, still chasing him down the right clicks. He's got a Blink Dagger in 5 seconds, the side trap. Meanwhile, the fight's still breaking out on the other side of the map here. Meld Strike, the right click, one more will do the job. They finally get the kill. They blew up the Nyx Assassin as well on the backside. TP's coming out. They have to defend their bottom tier 3 tower, but another fight won by Mineski here as we move into the 31-minute mark.
Man, Earthshaker made some really nice plays with the Fisher in that fight. I thought that was just going to be like clean 5-0 wipe in favor of Mineski, but he actually prevented the Rubik had stolen Requiem off the Shadow Fiend, and he prevented the Rubik casting Requiem right next to the Mirana and actually gave her the opportunity to TP out. So nicely played there, but Mineski's still going to head up under the high ground. Range track already dead, and without Don Schwan...
He's got buyback, though.
Yeah, can they hold? Maybe. Do they have Glyph? No. I guess maybe
he's got a buyback. I feel like.
I feel like if he buys back, the melee barracks is gonna die no matter what. If they go for a second lane, then he will have to.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. We'll see. I mean, they're trying to hold right now. Jay's kind of out of mana, but the Impale is gonna come through. The right click from the Viper, that's enough. It's a set of racks gone. The arrow will connect, but he's got refraction. It wasn't the full duration arrow anyways, so Jay will back off now. I guess Don Schwan doesn't have to buy back. He's down for only 1 more second, so he'll have that for the next fight, which is huge. if they decide to go for mid here. They might just back off and continue to farm and wait for the next Roshan. It's not up just yet. It's still, I'd say, about 2 minutes away, I think. And when that comes up, they go for it, or maybe even a minute and a half. I'm not sure.
Oh no, so it's 2 minutes to the.
Oh, to the 8-minute mark.
To the 8-minute mark,
Okay.
and then there'll be whatever time
Whatever,
after
yeah.
that, which I think you can. No, I don't know if you can tell it
I don't
before
think
the 8-minute mark.
I think someone told me before that you could. That the only like it's random up until that point. Like
Yeah.
when you get there, that's when it decides
Well,
the time.
there is like
so.
a pulsing part here, which might be the indicator of what the time after the 8-minute mark is going to be. So I guess it looks like it's 11 minutes out of 12, but it's so faint. I can't even. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see once it passes 8 minutes, and we'll have an idea. And Rubik completes an Aghanim
At 33
sector.
minutes, that's pretty nice. Is there anything that's okay? You have
Dazzle.
Dazzle
is
and Echo
upgradable.
Slam.
Yeah, Echo Slime as well, also upgradable.
I think that's it though. Those are the only two.
Yeah,
ults.
obviously you can just steal a hell of a lot more
Yeah, I mean,
spells
5-second
in fights
cooldown.
as well. So
Yeah, it's huge.
that's the other big advantage.
And it's not even level 3 also, which is, I mean, I guess the only thing that changes between the levels is duration. Scepter cooldown is always 5 seconds, so that doesn't even matter. So that's actually pretty huge for the Rubik. He'll be stealing whatever he wants to steal. If he can get the Echo Slam, that'd be pretty impressive. He doesn't really have a mobility item, so if he gets caught up in an Echo Slam, I mean, it's not going to matter. So Blink forward coming out from Jay, looking for a target here. I mean, he's going to try to find Boo Boo, but he's just going to TP away. Nicely done there. The illusion coming through. They know it's an illusion. They realize it. They're not even giving it the time of day. They're going to keep going top lane. Qual's just trying to pressure this lane, and then he'll TP out in just a second here. So smart play there. I'm not sure why they're all top and trying to push this in. There's no set of racks. They can enter through top lane, but they should probably go for mid next. And then again, the racks, or not the racks rather, but the Rosh is going to be, I think, pretty important. And we're going to find out 49 seconds. So, yeah, it looks like
Okay.
it was pulsing, but it wasn't like the...
So that's not the actual
Yes,
indicator.
yes.
I'm still learning this new timer, honestly. I knew the old timer in and out, and everybody complained about it, so they changed it, and now I'm not quite so familiar with this one. So I guess a little bit of information there. But yeah, Mineski, hold on to this tier 1 tower, still up on the top side. They're still up that lane of racks, so things looking all right as far as they're concerned. Don Schwang going to start working his way towards a butterfly. Does have his eagle song picked up right now, but a pretty fast Roshan respawn. Mineski are going to know immediately. And they should just be able to force a fight, or if they just stick around mid lane and keep pushing out mid, top lane is going to push in by itself, and Mineski almost get Roshan by default as a result.
Yeah, they're actually, but look at what RRQ are doing. They're looking for Jay. The impale off the mark. They needed to hit that. The arrow, not quite there either. That's rather unfortunate. So now, Mineski, they know Roshan is up, but they're bottom lane getting pressured here. Jay will push this out in about a second because he's got a Desolator and a lot of damage, so
Yeah.
not an issue. They'll head into Roshan. There is this Observer Ward for the Dire team, so they know this is actually happening. They saw, I think, Jesse Vash go in. And it looks like Don Schwan and Boobo are around the area, but they decided, like you said, that top lane is pushing in. They've got to deal with it. Qual has got to be there, so this probably is a free Roshan for Mineski. They're going to counter ward this real quick, but they'll probably head into Roshan next, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they know that the Miran is top. A couple of other heroes about to reveal themselves over there as well. Dazzle uses the ult just to try and spot wards up on the cliff. I don't know if that's a very high value weave, but it looks like he's probably not going to be forced to use it anytime soon. As Mineski, you're just going to be waiting for Jay to clear out bottom lane. It turns the corner, blinks into some trees, which is
unfortunate.
a bit silly. But he'll be able to go and clean up Roshan, even with this happening in just a second.
Yeah, they're still waiting around. They're being very patient. Like you said, they're waiting for some heroes to reveal themselves. Don Schwan's going to head to the lane. He'll push it out. Then they're probably going to head in there. I mean, they really want to make sure they know where that Shadow Fiend is. I feel like that's the highest value target for them. Just knowing where it is on the map at all times is very important. So Don Schwan will push this out. The rest of the squad for Mineski, though, they're going to jump into the Roche Pit. Viper Strike's going to go. It's on a 12-second cooldown, so it doesn't really matter. And this is just going to be a very fast Roshan. RRQ, nothing they can do about it now. It's not cheese yet, but still pretty nice to have. And they could probably... This is going to be it. I mean, if you can't take a fight here for RRQ, I don't know if you can really save the base here. I mean, they have buybacks on a lot of heroes, but I scratched that. They have buyback on one hero. So I'm wrong there, but that's fine either way. There's a lot of buybacks for Mineski. They're going to try to go for... yeah, I mean, at this point, if you kill the Shadow Fiend, you probably win the game, I'd say.
Jay, lots of chain stun, but he's got his BKB.
Looking for Gehenna right now. The right click's going. Look at that Desolate damage. Disgusting. He will kill that Earthshaker in about a second and a half. Koala getting caught out as well. They're looking for him. They're not going to find him. They're going to push everyone back. They're going to go for this tier 3 tower now. So the Primal Split not really doing anything here, but Jay still has that Aegis, not popping the BKB yet. Actually already popped it. The BKB's done. The Impale's going to go through right now from Nefari. The Meld Strike going to go. The Spike Carapace as well. Use the Living Armor on him. Now, Koala up in the air still from the Cyclone. Doesn't matter. They still Shadow Wave coming out for the Rubik. And there's going to be the Glyph going through. Another Viper Strike. Nefari's going to try to TP away. Is he going to make it? No. Ace XT blows him up. Drunken Haze again. They've already lost 2. The Earthshaker will be up in about 5 seconds, but it's another set of racks gone. What do you do here if you're RRQ? Don Juan, he doesn't even want to fight. He still doesn't have that butterfly. He's about 500 gold from it. This might even be Mega Creeps. Jay is going straight for the tier 3 tower. Don Juan getting Drunken Hazed. He can't even clear this creep wave. Now, Koala, they smoke up. They want to try to fight. The Weave is going to go through. Desolator still doing work. Nice 3-man Fisher coming through. Jay getting right click down. The arrow hit as well. Jay getting kind of low, but he should be okay. He'll back off Living Armor. They'll get ready to go once again. They pop the Manta Styles, and that's it. I mean, the Manta Styles, after that, there's not much else they can really do here. They're not even really doing that much work. The mech will be up in about 4 seconds, so...
So many creeps in their base. They just have to deal with all of the creeps as well, and Mineski still have the Aegis in hand. They've got the BKB back off cooldown for Jay. So basically, nothing expended in that previous fight aside from the Brewmaster Ultimate, which is only 30 seconds away anyway. And RRQ have to stop Jay hitting their buildings, but at this point, I don't know if they can.
Jay, he's got a BKB up right now. They're going to use that Desolator Strike, the Meld Strike coming through, doing a lot of damage with the Psy Blades. Boo Boo will stay alive. He'll throw up the Shallow Grave on himself, but now coming in, there's the Blink Echo Slam, finally getting it done. They'll bring one down, but Gehenna, he will pay for his sins. Too much work there, but now Don Juan taking that Viper down. The right click, they're turning it around. Jay getting low. Everybody dying right now. Jay has the Aegis. Can he turn this around? The Leech Seed, Koala getting chased down. The right click from Jesse Vash. Now the Aegis is going to come through. The Requiem. Jay taking the brunt of the damage, but Don Juan getting focused down. The Primal Split. Triple kill for Jesse Vash. Koala jumps in. The arrow hitting up. The buyback and the bots in from Jay. They want to finish this last building. Man, that is greedy. They will get the Mega Creeps. Koala getting focused down. The Rock getting thrown. Koala about to take a ton of damage. Now he Manta Styles. Doesn't even matter. Still stunned up. He is dead. That is going to be GG. Mineski, they will do it.
That Templar Assassin, that was Jay showing his stuff in that game. That was really impressive. I think, over 800 GPM to end the game. 300 higher GPM than anybody else in the match. That was just crazy.
Yeah.
What a great game from Jay. I think a lot of the problem for RRQ though, the Mirana bought the Midas, didn't feel impactful. I don't feel that Koala read the situation of the game particularly well. Like, we had that first blood bottom lane, the fast tower, that was a super fast mech. Mineski didn't even necessarily leverage that mech that much, but they still just took the game. They took such great control over the game, and Jesse Vash played a really nice Brewmaster as well, came through right at the very end. I think they'd won the game anyway at that point, but it did have some really nice team fights out of him. And Mineski, another pretty convincing performance here.
Yeah, that's a huge victory for them too. I mean, that goes a long way for them getting into the playoffs. RRQ was going to be a tough opponent, and they dealt with them pretty convincingly, like you talked about. So, again, pretty solid victory for them. We're going to refresh the standings here real quick. So, going into the qualifiers right now, we're getting into the last day, well, the last day of group play, I should say. The playoffs going to be coming through tomorrow. So it looks like with that victory, that'll put Mineski, I believe, at 5-3. I'm not sure.
Should be 5-3.
Yeah, I don't think it's updated just yet.
Well,
so
look, it's not live for anybody else, right?
That's
we
true.
are the only people right now, aside from the players and all the other casters, that know that the result of the game.
So 5-3, that's pretty solid. But you look at some of the other teams. Aero Gaming, they're 7-1. They've already secured a playoff spot. 6-2 for MVP Phoenix. If they go ahead and beat First Departure, I believe they're playing them now. That would be a huge victory for them. Also, there's a lot of options here in terms of seeing the 5-4 ties come out and seeing maybe some huge tiebreakers. But that all remains to be seen here, guys, as well. We are going to jump in. It looks like we're done. No, we have one more game, I believe. It's you and Zori, rather, doing Zephyr versus Execration on this stream. So we are going to head out of here, guys. At least I am. You'll be staying around once again. I am Maul. You can follow me at twitter.com/MaultDota2. With me is Basekip. You can follow him at twitter.com/Basekip. And we'll take a quick break. The stream might go down. We're going to maybe try to fix some things here real quick. But in the meantime, guys, it's been a pleasure. Stick around. We'll be back in just a little bit.